Hey there, and welcome to Authentically ADHD. I'm your host, Carmen, and I am so glad that you're here. This is a podcast where we get real about ADHD. No filters, no judgment, a safe space to explore and learn and grow. If you're here, it's because you want to take a deep dive into the world of ADHD, and trust me, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I start this podcast? Well, in true ADHD fashion, it all started very impulsively. One day, I thought, I should start a podcast, especially with all this paperwork that I have and all these notes that I have trying to understand my own ADHD. And the next thing I knew, here I am, sharing thoughts with you. I don't know, 200, 100 episodes later? I don't know. I lose track of time. I'm time blind. Are you? Anyways, when you have ADHD, ideas come fast, and sometimes you just gotta roll with them. Honestly, this podcast was born out of my passion for understanding ADHD in a deeper way with the newest research. You see, pills don't teach skills. That's something I've learned over the years. Medication can help and is a great tool to use, but true growth, that comes from knowledge, understanding, and actionable skills. And so that's what I want to share with you. Research-backed insights, practical tips, and lived experiences of someone who's been there. Now, a little bit about me. I'm not just a host of this podcast. I'm also an early childhood special education teacher, which means I've spent years understanding how children learn, grow, and thrive in ways that work for them, especially when they're neurodiverse. And I'm also a certified life and performance coach, guiding people to unlock their full potential in both their personal and professional lives. But here's the thing that makes me a little different. I'm also a late diagnosed ADHDer. And on top of that, I self-identify as being on the autism spectrum. So when I talk about ADHD, it's not just from a professional perspective, it's from lived experience, because I get it. I know what it's like to feel like your brain is running at full speed while everyone else is moving at a different pace, and you have instructions that are in Japanese and upside down, and everybody else got them in their own language. Throughout this podcast, I'll share all kinds of insights about navigating life with ADHD, from the everyday struggles to the strengths that we can celebrate. We'll talk about everything from time management to relationships to self-advocacy, and all about how to live authentically in a world that often asks us to be anything but. Whether you have ADHD yourself or you want to understand it better, you are in the right place. So, let's get started. While we are here, I also want to remind you that our ADHD memories suck. So if you like this podcast, make sure that you are subscribed or following or whatever it is from wherever you listen, so that you know when a new episode comes out. Okay? All right. Hi, this is a disclaimer that I am a early childhood special education teacher. I am a certified life and performance coach, and I am a podcaster. All right, I am not a medical doctor, and none of this information should be used in supplement of a medical professional and or therapy. Hey there, and welcome back to Authentically ADHD, the podcast where we dive into the quirky world of ADHD. The science of sleep today is what we are diving into, and the art of taking a break. I'm your host, Carmen, and today we are embarking on a magical journey through the realm of rest. Yes, that elusive treasure that many of us chase, especially of those that dance to the ADHD beat. So settle in and just get comfy, because we're about to explore the 7 types of rest. Yes, I said 7. And discover how science shows us that true self-care is not one size fits all. So, the ADHD and Rest Tango. Seriously, living with ADHD sometimes can feel like trying to tame a hyperactive squirrel on a sugar rush. When it comes to sleep or rest, our brains can be wired to think in loops of brilliant ideas or, at midnight, or create a circus of thoughts that keep us wide awake, especially if those thoughts are not necessarily negative. So, difficulty winding down, racing thoughts, and even sensory overload that makes a quiet room feel like a bustling carnival. But fret not, because understanding the 7 realms of rest can be our secret map to finding that elusive Zen zone. So why do we as ADHDers struggle with rest and sleep? Let's get a little bit into the science behind it. Research shows that the brains of people with ADHD often work a bit differently, especially when it comes to managing neurotransmitters like dopamine. Dopamine plays a huge role in regulating mood, motivation, and yes, our sleep patterns. When dopamine levels are off kilter, it can throw our internal clocks into disarray, which we already know that we don't really have an internal clock. So imagine trying to sync up like a drum beat, like a like a drum beat, right? Somebody playing the drums, but it's always a few beats behind. That's sort of what it feels like when you're trying to wind down after your brain is like racing with either creative sparks and endless ideas or negative, thought loops and rumination. A significant body of research points to what's known as delayed sleep phase syndrome, a tendency for individuals with ADHD to fall asleep much, much later than their typical bedtime. I have a whole episode about this, but studies have shown that these delays aren't just behavioral, they're rooted in our biology. The circadian rhythm, which is our natural sleep-wake cycle, can be out of sync due to differences in how our brain regulates light, sleep hormones, and alertness levels throughout the day. But wait, there's more. It's not just about like the brain chemicals. For many with ADHD, sleep isn't simply about closing our eyes at a designed time. It's also about the challenges of quieting our minds. Picture your brain as a bustling city at night with neon lights and ceaseless energy. The city that never sleeps, Las Vegas, whatever you want to call it. Research in cognitive neuroscience suggests that when our minds are in overdrive like that, whether it's due to creative thinking, hyperfocus, sensory overload, and even negative thoughts, it becomes much, much harder to transition into a restful state that is needed for sleep. Because as I have referenced, we're not just going to be talking about sleep in this episode. We're going to be talking about rest, because most of us do not rest during the day, throughout the day, meaning that we are contributing to burnout. Anyways, as I get off topic here. So, transitioning is already hard for us. So when, we're trying to quiet our minds, and research shows this, cognitive neuroscience suggests that after our minds are in overdrive, it makes it even harder to transition into the restful state that you need to go to sleep or even just rest. So stop the shame about it and stop getting mad. If you're a person that gets angry because you can't sleep, I used to be that person. Raising my hand high here, I used to be that person. If you're that person, stop it. Please stop. It probably helped my sleep times a million. Okay, it really did. Here's the environmental factor. Our modern world bombards us with screens and distractions well into the night. The blue light that emits from any gadget or TV can suppress natural production of melatonin, the hormones that signal to our body that it's time for rest. For someone with ADHD whose brain might already be wired for high stimulation and might already be low in the vitamin of melatonin, wow, this can make it really, really hard to fall asleep. It can make it feel like trying to unplug an overcharged circuit board, which is probably why a lot of you are used to just going till you crash. So, in a nutshell, it's a cocktail of neurobiology, environmental chaos, our brain's unique wiring with its altered dopamine dynamics and circadian rhythm makes it naturally challenging to wind down. And add in the nonstop sensory input from just our daily lives, and you got a perfect storm, or should I say dumpster fire storm, for sleepless nights. This is probably why ADHD is linked to a lot of different sleep disorders. Anyways, the good news, understanding these challenges is the first step in overcoming them. By tailoring our bedtime routines, like dimming the lights, reducing screen time before bed, using mindfulness techniques, we can start to align our internal clocks a bit more closely with the rest of the world. But what I want to help you do is also improve your sleep hygiene. Okay, when someone used to say sleep hygiene, I used to shrug my shoulders and almost gag and be like, what the heck? What is that? What is sleep hygiene? How do I wash my sleep? No, it's not about washing your sleep. It's about maintaining the basic needs of your body so that you can sleep well, right? So we can't sleep well if we're hungry. We can't sleep well if if we didn't get enough dopamine throughout the day and we didn't get enough time to scroll or to do certain things that do provide that dopamine, in healthy amounts. Our brains are going to do it at the end of the day. It's called bedtime procrastination. I also have a whole episode on that. But that's the other part of it. It makes it really, really hard when you don't incorporate, especially the correct types of rest, knowing what type of rest you need and knowing how to do it. So, if you're battling sleep and rest, you're not alone. The science tells us that our struggles are deeply rooted in neurobiology, but with some creative strategies, self-compassion, and some tips here that I'm going to share, we can learn to navigate the nighttime maze. So, even if that means sometimes burning the midnight oil, we'll get to that. So, before we go any further, I am going to explain to you the 7 kingdoms of rest. Imagine your life as a grand bustling kingdom. Every part of you, body, mind, heart, senses, spirit, creativity, and community, each part deserves its own little sanctuary of calm, and let's explore these 7 kingdoms. The first one is the kingdom of the body, which is physical rest. Our muscles, joints, and cells are like little workers. They need downtime to repair and rejuvenate. Science studies have shown that quality sleep not only mends tissue, but also improves cognitive function, which is crucial for ADHD management. You can also think of a power nap as a pit stop for your body's little messengers, or whatever you want to call them, the little workers that work there. And, they need rest in order to keep working correctly. Then there is the sanctuary of the mind, which is mental rest. For those of us with ADHD, our minds can be like fireworks display. Exciting, yet very exhausting. Mental rest involves quieting the mind, perhaps through mindfulness or meditation to prevent burnout. It's like hitting the pause button on your mental remote control. Then there's emotional rest, and this is the heart's hideaway. I am not going to lie to you right now. I used ChatGPT for these little titles, and I think they're so cute, so I use them. Anyways, back to emotional rest, the heart's hideaway. When you're constantly juggling intense feelings, especially in the whirlwind of ADHD, you need a break from it. You need a break from the emotional labor. So emotional rest might look like therapy, journaling, or simply sharing a laugh with a friend, a vent session, go have a drink, go do something, go walk. It's about giving yourself permission to feel and then let it go. That's the key. Let it go. Number 4, sensory rest, or a retreat for your senses. With ADHD, our sensory processing might be on overdrive. Every sound, light, or texture can feel amplified. Sensory rest means creating calm environments, dim lights, soft sounds, and minimal distractions. It's your personal soundproof bubble in a noisy world. There's examples of doing this like as a sensory shower or doing a sensory, type activity. But I would also suggest making a little area that is your personal soundproof, like, bubble, right? That has all the calming things that you like, with the lighting that you like, all those things. Number 5 is creative rest, the foundation of inspiration. Our creative juices can run dry if we're always in production mode. This rest allows your brain to wander and dream, whether it's through nature walks, art for no reason, daydreaming. Studies suggest that creative brains boost problem-solving skills. So when we take these breaks, it's a boost for our inventive mind, right? We are out-of-the-box thinkers, but those creative minds need breaks, right? So in order to do that, we need to turn our brain off from the creation. Okay, if I were to sit and write these podcasts back to back to back to back creatively like this, I would get very tired. I would not be able to keep up. I wouldn't be ahead on my episodes still. Like, no, just wouldn't be a thing. Next, social rest, the oasis of connection. Even if you love a good conversation and constantly interacting without breaks, maybe you are a very social being, but doing this without little breaks can be draining, especially if you're managing ADHD-related social anxiety, which I am raising my hand to say, yes, I do. Social rest is about balancing time alone and time with others, ensuring the interactions are meaningful and recharging from them. So making sure that you're having interactions that are meaningful, meaning you don't have to get together, meaning it's meaningful for you and the other person. And then taking breaks alone intentionally to recharge. Number 7, last but not least, spiritual rest, the inner sanctuary. This isn't necessarily about religion, okay? I don't go like that on this podcast. It's about connecting with your inner self, nature, or whatever gives you a sense of purpose. Spiritual rest can be found through meditation, prayer, or simply appreciating a quiet sunset, helping you feel centered and grounded and connected with your higher self. So why do we need these different types of rest? You might be wondering, like, why do I need all these different types of rest? Like, I sleep more? Well, research tells us that sleep is only one piece of the rest puzzle. Each type of rest nourishes a different facet of our complex selves. Like, if you ever noticed, maybe you caught up on a bunch of sleep, but then you still felt tired. So, for instance, physical rest repairs our bodies, but without mental rest, our brains continue to overwork. Emotionally and sensory resting can help us cope with the overload of stimuli that ADHD brains often experience, and creative, social, and spiritual rest reconnect us with our inner joys. They boost our resilience, and they remind us that sometimes being still and quiet is the ultimate act of self-care. In essence, by identifying which kingdom of rest is like under siege or like needs improvement in your life, you can tailor your self-care strategies to restore balance and thrive in life. Some of these types of rest can be built into your weekly or daily routines as well. Next, we are going to talk about identifying your rest needs, and I'm going to give you 7 simple, actionable tips to start doing all of this. But first, let's hear from our sponsors. Hey there. If you're looking for a game changer in managing your ADHD, let me tell you about something that's made a huge impact on my life. Focused, the adult ADHD group coaching program by Kristen Carter. This isn't just another program. It's a community. It's a roadmap. It's a lifeline for adults with ADHD who want to thrive. Inside of Focus, you'll find weekly coaching calls with Kristen packed with actionable insights, a supportive community of adults who get it. They get what it's like to live with ADHD. You'll get tools and strategies that actually work for our brains. No fluff, just real results. I've been a part of Focused for over a year, and let me tell you, it's where I've learned so much of what I share with you on Authentically ADHD. It's been a game changer for me, and I think it could be for you too. And here's the best part. If you use my link to join, we both save money. It's a win-win. So if you've been looking for the right ADHD support, this is your sign to check it out. Head to the link in my show notes to learn more and sign up. Let's thrive together with tools and support that we need to succeed. Are you also loving what we're doing on Authentically ADHD but want to take your experience to the next level? Well, I have got something for you. Introducing the Authentically ADHD Patreon, your VIP pass to the ultimate ADHD support hub. As a Patreon member, you'll unlock exclusive perks like early access to every single episode, hear it before anyone else does, a treasure trove of resources that I've made, tools, guides, and worksheets to help you thrive in everyday aspects of life, direct coaching opportunities with me designed to help you harness your ADHD powers, and the cherry on top, an incredible community of like-minded individuals who just get it. You're not alone on this journey, and together we can be unstoppable. By joining Patreon, you're not just supporting the podcast, you're fueling a movement. Together, we're breaking stigmas, embracing authenticity, and creating a world where ADHD is seen as a strength and not just a struggle. So what are you waiting for? Head over to patreon.com/authenticallyADHD and join the family today. Let's keep growing, thriving, and showing up authentically together. Hope to see you over there. Back to the show. All right, so now that we have talked about why we as ADHDers struggle with rest and sleep and what the 7 types of rest are, let's talk about how do we identify your rest needs. So I want you to imagine your energy levels as a vibrant, multicolored pie chart, a dynamic mosaic where each slice or whatever you want to, visualize represents a different facet of your well-being. In this little whimsical self-diagnostic exercise, you're invited to become the artist of your own energy map. Okay, so ask yourself, do you often find your body craving rest even as your mind buzzes with ideas? Perhaps your pie chart is going to reveal a tiny slice for physical rest, leaving the rest of it filled with an overabundance of mental activity. On the flip side, if you frequently feel emotionally drained after spending time with friends or engaging in lively discussions, it might be that your slices of emotional or social rest are much too small, right? We want to make them all equal. That's the goal here. So take a moment to consider this. The absence of a large segment in one area can cause a super big imbalance, much like painting, much like a painting, like missing a crucial color. So think about like a painting of a person, but it's missing like the color black. So there's no outlines, like it's all like muddied together. When your physical rest is lacking, you might notice your muscles feeling tight or your energy dipping during the day, even if you're mentally alert. Conversely, if you are short on sensory rest, everyday lights and sounds might overwhelm you, making even like a quieter room seem like a bustling fairground. This visualization not only makes it easier to pinpoint what you're missing, but it also transforms your self-care journey into kind of a creative process. Again, when we make things aesthetically pleasing to us, we're more likely to use it. A wonderful way you could get started is by listing your daily activities and mapping out each one to a specific type of rest. So write out your daily routine from your morning cup of coffee to your evening, whatever ritual it is, and jot these things down. And then categorize them into the 7 types of rest. So if you work out during the day, connect that to physical rest. If you have a part of your day that requires a lot of cognitive and mental, alertness, put that as mental rest, emotional rest, etc., 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 etc. Sensory, creative, social, spiritual. You might discover, for instance, that while you're dedicating ample time to creative pursuits like brainstorming or engaging in your hobbies, your sensory or emotional rest could be suffering. So, perhaps you're frequently immersed in vibrant social interactions, or at work, things are super. For me, I'm a preschool teacher. My job is literally overstimulating. The children are loud, the lights are bright, and kids are moving everywhere all at once. So, if you're immersed in vibrant social interactions like that, while they might be even enjoyable, I do enjoy my job most of the time, it can leave you feeling exhausted. And it can even lead to overwhelm and frustration, suggesting a need for social downtime, which is why I'm a hermit for a lot of the time. And I have to really, really plan out spending time with friends. So consider taking this further with a reflective walk. As you stroll through a quiet park or even around your neighborhood, notice the colors of your thoughts shifting like changing hues in a sunset. Use this time to think about where you feel the most depleted. Is it your body? Is it your mind? Or is it your heart? Journaling these reflections can be incredibly insightful. Each written word is a brushstroke, adding a detail to your personal energy pie chart. So, if you can actively process this better by writing it down and journaling it out, go for it. If you would like to try it, go for it. You want to make it digitally, go for it. Do what works for you. Balance is the ultimate goal here. Just as a painter steps back to assess the harmony of their canvas, you too can periodically step back, evaluate, and readjust your rest needs. When you see that one slice is too small, think of it as an invitation to add more of that color into your daily life. Whether that means setting aside time for a power nap, scheduling quiet moments for meditation, or simply creating a serene space in your home to unwind. Each nurturing area of your rest is a vital part of your self-care. So let your energy pie chart be your guide, or whatever it is that you decide to create. And by acknowledging and addressing each type of rest, you can cultivate a balanced and vibrant lifestyle, one where every part of you gets the attention it deserves, and one where self-care becomes an art form in itself. Now, I do want to put the disclaimer here that this does not happen overnight. Listening to one podcast about rest and the 7 types of rest is not going to help you overnight. It does take time. Believe me, I've been doing this for probably a year now, since I wrote about the 7 types of rest in my free burnout course. But I'm still working on it. I am still working on it. A fun little exercise is to list your daily activities and assign them to respective categories. So you may find that while you're giving plenty of time to attention and creative pursuits, your sensory and emotional rests might be starving for attention. So remember, balance is the key. So now let's get into the good stuff. All right, let's get into the 7 tips for self-care to help you integrate these 7 types of rest into your life. Tip number 1, physical rest. Establish a consistent sleep schedule and incorporate short naps when needed. For example, Jenna, a college student with ADHD, found that setting an alarm for 20-minute power naps in the afternoon drastically improved her focus during her evening study sessions. Tip number 2, for mental rest. Try a mindfulness meditation, or a digital detox for 10 to 15 minutes daily. Mark, an artist with ADHD, uses a meditation app to clear his racing thoughts each morning. This practice helps him jumpstart his creativity without that mental clutter. Tip number 3 for emotional rest. Schedule emotional check-ins. I do this a lot. This is where you process your feelings through journaling or some type of therapy session, a phone call to a friend, or even just a quick, I feel this way because blah. Sarah, a busy teacher managing ADHD, finds that spending 10 minutes each night writing down her feelings helps her sleep better and keep her emotions in check. Another example, Carmen, a busy teacher, podcaster, and life coach who manages ADHD, finds that spending 20 minutes each morning writing down my feelings and emotions and thoughts helps me emotionally regulate throughout the day, which leads to sleeping better later. Tip number 4 for sensory rest. Create a calming environment by dimming the lights, reducing noise, or using calming scents. Make this an area in your home. For example, Alex, who is a software engineer, software developer with ADHD, he transformed his workspace by adding noise-canceling headphones and a soft lamp. It turns his office into a sensory-friendly zone during intense work hours. Now, these examples are just examples because I prefer to work in a bright area. So I like bright lamps and the big light when I'm working. When I'm trying to rest or when I'm in a different headspace, I like the lights lower. So make sure you're making these tips work for you and not more work for you. Tip number 5 for creative rest. Allow yourself unstructured time to daydream, doodle, write, simply sit in nature for no reason and nothing at all. For example, Mia, a podcaster with ADHD, dedicates a Sunday morning to wander in her local park without any planned agenda, no headphones. These movements of creative freedom often spark new ideas for her episodes. Tip number 6, social rest. Balance social interactions with solitude. Consider quiet evenings with a book or some kind of solo hobby that you like to do. For example, Ben, who thrives on social engagement but also struggles with ADHD burnout, now schedules one night a week as a me night to just recharge, even if that means politely declining a dinner invitation. No is a complete sentence. Telling somebody that you can't do something, no, I can't, is a complete sentence. If you feel the need to explain yourself, you can tell them, I don't have the capacity for that, or that's my scheduled time for me. And I set that time aside on purpose to avoid burnout. But just so you know, no, I'm not able to do that is a full sentence, and it is a respectful answer. And now last but certainly not least, again, tip number 7 for spiritual rest. Connect with your inner self through practices like meditation, prayer, or simply enjoying nature. Do the things that bring you, your higher self, joy. For example, Olivia, a community organizer with ADHD, spends 15 minutes each morning watching the sunrise. This quiet ritual helps her feel connected to something greater, fueling her passion for her work and her personal life. So, there you have it, explorers of rest. By embracing the science behind why we struggle to rest and these 7 types of rest, we can really transform our ADHD challenges into opportunities for self-care and renewal. Remember, rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity, it's a human need, and it's multidimensional in practice. It nurtures every part of our being, and I really hope today's episode has sprinkled a little magic into your rest routine. Whether you're a night owl struggling with sleep or a busy mind in need of sensory sanctuary, take these tips that work for you and really trash the rest of them. Don't forget to share this with a friend who may need it. Share it to your socials and or leave a podcast review and or rating. It really helps us reach more people who are looking for this information. I greatly appreciate you, and that's all I have for now. Stay authentic, and we will talk soon.